Okay, so we're going to do some passive release techniques for the neck. I actually love doing this work. Now, once again, I've sort of said about passive release techniques, you're going to do all this sort of stuff post your trigger point work. The rule of thumb with passive release techniques is, check their range of movement, see where sort of restrictions they've got, and sort of work into those ranges of movement and try and free them up as much as they can. So if you're looking at rotation and they're saying I'm feeling a lot of pulling through here, you're going into flexion, they're saying I'm feeling it down there, lateral flexion, I'm feeling it through here. These are the areas you're going to target with your passive release techniques, and they're awesome. But what it means is you're going to have a really compliant client like Dan, and that their head is nice and relaxed. If they can't relax their head, then you're going to have real difficulty in trying to get those passive release techniques to be as good as they can be. So what I tend to do first is, obviously I'll test a little bit, like I said, their range of movement, see where they pick up, where they're restricted, and then I'll work into those ranges. So if we're looking at, say, rotation for a start, and let's just say, Dan's having some restriction going to the left, I'm actually going to work him into his right. All right, so really broad thumbs, just fingers, sort of the palm. I'm going to start down here and basically just bring him straight all the way into rotation while I work all the way up, and then a little bit of flexion. All right, so we just want to chase any restrictions that might be there. We can hone in on a particular area. And it's all about trying to move the tissue as much as we can through the range, all right? So that's, say, a bit of rotation. If I came in and I have a little bit of lateral issues, then I'm obviously going to bring them into lateral flexion, and then I'm going to work up, and then I'm going to bring some rotation in. So it's sort of like a little bit of lateral flexion, and then rotation, and work up the tissue there. All right. I'm not picking up any specific muscle here, I'm just working it all because I'm actually working through the range. So lateral flexion, rotation, and then up. All right. So if we're looking at, say, a lot of that sort of upper cervical suboccipital area, then I'm going to be doing a lot more sort of rotation and then a little bit of flexion, okay? So a bit of rotation and then flexion. So once again, you're just trying to pick up that tissue that's really restricted. And then you can work it back the other way, rotation, then a little bit of lateral flexion, rotation, and a little bit of lateral flexion. And just work it through as many types of range of movement as you can. And we're actually getting a parasympathetic response there with Dan. Stomach's gurgling, which is good. We obviously activated the vagus nerve, mate. All right, so that's passive release technique. So, take the time, explore a little bit of their range of movement, assess, see where they're tight, where, work into lateral flexion, work into rotation, work away from rotation, work into rotation, add a little bit of combined movements, either lateral flexion and flexion. It's all there for you.